Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Dr. David Hausman with Stronghold Health.
I'm Dr. Zach.
And in this video, we're going to be telling you a little bit about drop tables. So if you've ever been perusing on Facebook, Instagram Reels, or TikTok and you see the chiropractic adjustment videos where the table lifts and drops and lifts and drops, what the heck is that thing?
So that is a chiropractic drop table. It is a different type of chiropractic technique where we don't have to do as much twisting and pushing. It allows us to use gravity to our advantage. So the table can come up a couple of inches, and it allows us to use the old-fashioned Newton's physics.
The good old Newtonian physics.
Newtonian physics. So
not Fig Newtons, right?
No, not Fig Newtons.
Okay.
We all took physics at some point in our life, right? So we remember the old equation: force equals mass times acceleration.
Yeah.
So that allows us to use less mass, more acceleration with gravity to get the same
amount of force. Like we can adjust pretty much every segment of the spine. So low back, tailbone, hips, they require for those joints a lot more force than the rest of the spine would. I think it's 2 newtons of force to adjust spinal joints throughout a majority of the spine. But then when you go down in the low back particularly, and you want to adjust that area down there between your tailbone and your hips, that requires almost 10 times the amount of force, so 20 newtons of force. And in order for us to be able to get that amount of force without using a drop table, in some instances would literally be like pushing really hard or like crushing on a patient, and that's not going to be comfortable. So drop table gives us the advantage of being able to deliver a very quick impulsive force and take the body through a partial range of motion, because with the lift and the drop, your body actually moves as the drop table drops back down. And then the stopping force of when the drop piece actually comes to a halt is an increase in the amount of force that we're actually putting in that joint.
Right.
Does that make sense, or did I ramble?
It's pretty simple, honestly.
Yeah. So it's physics. It's Newtonian physics, not Fig Newtons. But drop tables are great because the advantages of a drop table for a chiropractic adjusting technique are patients that have osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, stiff and brittle joints. Those are the patients that definitely benefit from drop table and drop technique, but we found it to be so beneficial we use it for a lot of our adjusting at Stronghold Health. What else about drop tables?
Why is the drop table good for adjusting the lumbopelvic area instead of the rotation adjustment?
Well, that's a great question. So I believe what you're referring to is when you lay a patient on the side and they're in that like figure 4 and you twist their low back.
Yeah.
If you're a person that's dealing with a disc injury in the low back, a twisting type of maneuver like that can often aggravate the already injured disc that you have. So if it's herniated or a bulging disc, often it's easier for us to use backward to forward motion instead of twisting motion. And so the drop table allows us to do the backward forward motion where we're not going to be abrasive and really grind on that disc that's already injured. So we can still adjust the joint, we can introduce healthy motion into that spinal segment, but we can do it without creating or causing more aggravation. So definitely very beneficial for when it comes to like low back injuries and acute cases. Did I just call someone cute?
Acute.
Oh, acute.
Small
cases. Just happened, still healing.
Yeah.
But you're cute. Here we have Dr. Zach and Dr. Zach's model spine. And as you can tell, the hips are like way smaller than what they would need to be for Dr. Zach's actual anatomy here. So if Dr. Zach is a patient that's dealing with an injury to one of these discs in the low back, which is one of the most common issues that people come in dealing with for chiropractic clinics nationwide is a disc herniation or a disc injury, that shock absorber, the fiber cartilage, doesn't do really good with twisting when it's injured. It does great with twisting when it's not injured and it's healthy, but when it's injured, we don't want to twist and grind down on that fiber cartilage because it'll just prolong how the healing process and the inflammatory response would take. So anyway, long story short, with that area down there, we want to use a different adjustment technique, and that's where the drop table comes in and is very beneficial. So if you had a curve in the spine, The model's locked right here, so it won't let me do it. But if there was a curve, often the bones will twist and rotate towards one side, and that's what will happen with one of those in the low back. And we're gonna do this based off of x-rays for all of our patients. So we'll take the x-rays, and the x-rays tell us what to adjust. I'm gonna use the drop table to untwist that bone like that. Without actually twisting, I'm gonna use backward to forward momentum or force. And that's where the drop table comes in, is very, very handy. We can lift the drop table and then drop it down, and as we drop it, let it unrotate. So for Dr. Zach, what that might look like is right down here in his low back. So we're gonna come to that joint right there. I'm going to pull it from left to right and then drop it down all at the same time without doing an excessive twist. Just like that. Drop tables are awesome, they're great, take a lot of pressure off of the doctor's body, but it allows us to introduce really good, healthy force to deliver the correct adjustment that you need for the patient.